So today we're putting a 345 Camaro diff in a 2015 Chevrolet SS in place of the stock diff. It's got a one-piece drive shaft, so we got the drive flange here for that drive shaft. This diff has a torque worm carrier posi unit in it, and it also has JRE billet caps, Genetic Racing Engineering billet main caps. And the difference between the billet caps and the stock caps, it's hard to really tell looking at them, but this is really thin and moves around a lot. So when you launch hard, that diff is trying to torque away from the case, and it causes the gear mesh to separate, makes the gear weaker. So this holds everything in place a little better. They have to be milled to size. As you can see, they're longer than factory. So you measure the bore size versus this, subtract that, put it in the mill off the ends so that it fits, because everyone's a little bit different, so they make them long for you.
Yeah, you can tell in the picture. It looks a lot beefier on here. For you can tell, yeah.
It definitely is.
Yeah, that's good. And a lot of people like to change the discs to the Camaro disc for a couple reasons. The better posi, you can upgrade the posis easier, and they come with better gear ratios. They're 327 or 390 in the 6-speeds and 45s in the manuals.
Yep.
That's what this is, right? 345?
Yep, 345. So.
And the G8s really suffer from bad gears because they all come with 292s. The SSs come with a 327, so you got a little bit better gear ratio factory, but you still can't modify these as much as you can the Camaro stuff.
One thing you have to keep in mind too, when you change wheels, like people in the G8s will put the Camaro wheels on it, they're larger diameter, so you're taking your 292 gear, which is already super high, low ratio, low numerical, high ratio, and you're putting a bigger tire on it, which makes the effective gear ratio even higher. So that's another, really when you go to like a 327, it's kind of the same as a 292 with Camaro wheels. So.
Well, yeah, if people go to the track and they run 28s, they're taking more gear ratio away that way too, instead of running like a 26 or something.
So it's all effective gear ratio.
Yep. So yeah, they already got it out before I got here, thankfully.
Shocker, it was an hour late.
So. So we got it hanging by one bolt. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up. How much fluid these usually hold, Dustin?
Right around a quart, not much.
That's pretty simple then. Throw one quart in there and call it.
I try to do it early because it's such a pain to get everything in there once it's mounted up. I'll put a little over a quart, and then once we get it mounted up, I'll take the fill plug out and drain the excess out top. Easier to drain it than it is to edit.
That's for sure.
So one of the issues with this SS, it's the factory e-brake cable retainers, which aren't used on an SS with the electric parking brake, are rubbing the drive shaft because it's larger diameter than factory. So we're just going to remove both of these brackets so it doesn't cause any further damage.
Yeah, the one-piece drive shafts are strong, but they do tend to hit things underneath the car.
They're just big. Even up here on this heat shield, a lot of people remove the heat shield.
Yep.
Because it hits this weight. It's got this balance weight right here.
Yep.
It's rubbing on that pretty good.
All right.
It's tight.
All right, after we trimmed for the big one piece, we went ahead and put it back in. As you can see, removing the heat shield and trimming the not used e-brake mounts, cleared up room. We shouldn't have any more issues hitting anything.
Another issue too, just while we got these off on the knuckles, the ABS sensor doesn't use a reluctor wheel that's attached to the axle like some of the older cars. I think the G8s maybe have that, but these actually have magnets in this bearing ring right here. The sensor sticks through here. While you got it off, it's a good idea just to get any kind of metallic particles that collect on there that would maybe affect the signal. It's a
good idea.
Kind of a TSB on it, but while it's here.
Yep. Just knock the axles in. Another difference between the G8s and the SSs are the SSs have a bigger axle on the passenger side for strength and
Wheel hop
prevention that the G8s don't have. And the G8s usually hold up pretty good axle-wise anyway, so it's awesome that they went ahead and upgraded that on the newer ones. We're gonna check on the Caprice next. We're gonna bring in here and see if that one has the bigger one or the small one, because now I'm interested in
Or not.
I can stop it again.
Yeah, so 345's back in with all the other stock stuff. Everything fit, the axles fit the same, everything bolts right up technically. So we got to put the caliper back on this other knuckle. Everything else is tight. Also, we mark, before we take these off, we mark a line around both sides and just try to maintain the camber alignment on both sides so it gets it really close to where it was.
Yeah, but everything over here, as you saw, we took the whole knuckle off. It's only 3 bolts, and that way you just can pull the whole axle out, have the axle on the ground instead of having to undo just the top and lean it over. You can get it out, but like Dusty was saying earlier, the time you save doing that isn't worth the hassle of the pain of trying to get it back in, and where you can just bolt stuff back up.
Sometimes you take more time trying to save time.
For sure.
So you can do it either way. You know, you can take all these out and loosen the lower, take all this stuff and drop it, leave the axle in, leave the knuckle on, pull the knuckle back and get the axle out of the, it's close to the seal. Sometimes you'll catch the seal when you're dropping and installing the diff, so it's
easier to just take the knuckle.
5 more minutes and you're...
Now we're just left with putting the tire back on and the exhaust. Hey Dusty!
What's up?
Nothing. So
Finished up.
last things were, you know, we didn't film bolting up the exhaust, but it's like any other exhaust system on the cars. It's nothing changes with that either. And just torquing the wheels, and that's it. We'll go for a test drive now, make sure everything's good. I'm sure it will be. Close the hood. It's done. Send it. So we got all wrapped up. We just do a quick test drive, make sure nothing seems off with it. But we set it all up on the bench, so it'll be good. One thing to note is anytime you change gear ratios, you're gonna have to completely change your tune. So make sure you bring it straight to the tuner, or if you're not tuning yourself, because gear ratios will mess up your shift points and a lot of calibrations that are used for the engine and transmission.